and thank you for coming to Dean Keith Honda. We have Phil here from Honda to give you a presentation of the car. It's going to talk about sort of 20 minutes. I've seen the vehicle today. It's really fantastic car, fantastic. Really excited to show you the car. But I'm going to let Phil take you around and show you all the features of the car. So over to you, Phil.
Lovely, thanks very much. Thanks for coming here tonight on a Monday night, taking some time out. Can I ask you to come to the front of the car, please? Because we're going to do what's called a walk round on the car, and it's sort of a bit of showing you what it's all about. It's also like a bit of exercise as well. You do a lap of the car. So there we go. And if we start at the front, we get the big reveal. So I've had the pleasure of driving this car now for 3.5 weeks. So it's kind of on tour. We've been as far as Inverness in the north and Devon in the south, and pretty much everywhere in the middle. So I've done 3,500-ish miles in the car. So what I'm going to tell you really is based on obviously the specifications of the car, but there's also some real experience in there as well. So I have driven it. It's not just speaking out of the brochure, so to speak. But it's our brand new model. It's the HR-V EHEV to give it its full name, which I think we should, but from now on you can just call it the HR-V. We won't get cross with you. So I think you've waited long enough. Let's do the reveal. Most people might go woo and clap. You know? So there we go. Right. So hopefully you think, lovely looking car. It's a brand new car, just to reiterate that. It's not a development of the current HR-V. It's a brand new model. The car's built in our factory in Japan. And I suppose the big news is the fact that it's a hybrid car for the first time on HR-V. And I'm just going to try and find out a little bit about you. I know some because I've spoken. Who's driving a hybrid or has owned a hybrid? 1, 2, no, right. Just gives me an idea of what you know. Who's in a current HR-V? 1, 2, good, lovely. Right, just gives me an idea of what you're driving, so I know what I'm saying. That's great news. So let's start by talking about that hybrid element, first of all. So underneath this bonnet here, there is a 1.5 litre petrol engine, and it's combined with 2 electric motors. I want to state from the very start that I'm going to sort of describe some of the technicalities of what's going on under the bonnet here, but the reality of it is that you couldn't have a more simple car to own and drive. It self-charges. All you need to do as the owner of the car is to keep your eye on the petrol gauge, and when it needs some petrol, pop it in at the flap at the back. Now, exactly. Usually that's a real plus point, but the last couple of weeks that's been a bit hard work, but that'll all die off. So you just need to keep putting petrol in it and it will look after itself. When you're driving the car, it switches between 3 modes. It does this automatically. You just have to sit back, put your foot on the throttle and drive it. So it will go between being in EV mode, where it's working in pure electric. There'll be no petrol engine running. It will be in hybrid mode, where there's a petrol engine running, powering the electric motors, and very occasionally it will be in motor mode, where the petrol engine is running, usually about 50-60 miles an hour on a flat road, and it is, through a clever transmission, actually turning the wheels. But as I say, it does that. It's always looking for the most efficient way to get you down the road and the way of using the least energy. So it's very clever. If you set off from the forecourt here, you'd pull away in pure EV. As you got maybe to the roundabout over here and you're emerging with faster traffic, you'd put your foot down, the petrol engine would start up, it would provide energy for the electric motors, and it gives you extra power. Honda call it a petrol-powered electric vehicle, and that's the best way of thinking about it, to be honest with you. That's what it is. So the numbers, it puts out 131 brake horsepower or 131 PS, which is more than enough. But the big news is the amount of torque it puts out. So it puts out 253 Newton meters of torque. Now, if you've got a current 1.5 petrol HR-V, I don't know if any of those in the room have got that, that's a significant improvement. That's about 96 Newton meters more torque. Now what that torque is, that's the sort of real world power. That's what overtakes a truck quickly. That's what gets you onto a dual carriageway and accelerates easily. It's low down power. And that electric motor gives you lots of that. So it drives really well. As I say, that's based on 3,500 miles experience. Fuel consumption. Quoted numbers. You know those quoted numbers that those manufacturers love to give you and you all go. We say 52.4 miles per gallon on the combined cycle. Reality, easily achievable. I've had mid-50s all the time. When I went up to Inverness, all I did was stuck to the speed limit, used the cruise control or the adaptive cruise control. It did 62.7 miles per gallon. So it's been really good. I've been really happy with that. No problems whatsoever. So there it is. Easy to drive. All you do is start it up, put your foot on the throttle, it figures it all out. Just keep putting petrol in it. You don't have to charge it up. Happy with that? Perfect. Right, let's talk about the other side of the car, the basics. So it's all new. We've got this lovely new front end treatment. As you can see, it's got a body coloured grille now, and all the colours of the car get that body coloured grille. This particular colour is called Sunlight Pearl. So it looks a bit grey, a bit blue, a bit white. But when you get the sunshine on it, or these lights here, you can see it's got a real golden glow to it. It's almost like a colour change. Very nice colour. But if that's not your choice, and I know colour's very personal, you could have a white one, a black one, a grey one, a red one, or a khaki one. So hopefully there's something there for all of you, all right? Front end of the car, we've got some lovely new lights, very effective. They're LED, and so what that means is they're very, very bright, which is good news. Also very low energy usage and very long lasting. So if I put those on for you, you can see we've got the LED daytime running light, which is the strip across the top, and then we've got the two dipped headlights either side, and the high beam is in the middle. The high beam on the car comes with our high beam support system. That's on all models. And so what that means is when you go down a dark road where there's no cars either in front of you or coming the other way, the car will automatically put your high beams on for you. It makes driving very easy, especially in areas like this where there's a mixture of sort of town and rural roads. Good thing. The indicators, they're sequential now. So very eye-catching, but also they look good as well. So you can see now they do that flowing movement, which is really nice, you know? As I say, it's a safety thing, but come on, let's be honest. It looks good, yeah? Okay? We like it. So there's your indicators. At the front of the car on all models, and there are 3 models in the range, by the way. Elegance is the entry level. Then there's an Advance, and then there's Advanced Style. That's the top of the range. This car is an Advance, which is the mid-range model, okay? But on all models, you get front parking sensors and rear parking sensors and the camera at the back as well. So it's easy to park. And also, I would say, because of the change in shape, you now can see, if you like, more easily where the front of the car is. It doesn't drop away quite so much. So it's actually a very easy car to judge in sort of parking situations. But with the sensors and the change of shape, it's easy to handle, okay? So we've talked about the front end, the colours and the lights. Let's go up to the sort of windscreen area. I'll just switch those indicators off. So we sit slightly higher in this car than the existing HR-V. The seat at its lowest position is 20mm, nearly an inch, higher than the current HR-V. So you maintain that high driving position, good visibility, and also ease of entry and exit, which a lot of people like about HR-V. Does anybody know why it's called HR-V, by the way? You know what it stands for? Pub quiz time. It's dead easy. High ride vehicle. That's all it means, okay? And that's what obviously the initial thing we were trying to achieve was to give you that higher driving position. All right, so there we go. Right. What else can we talk about? The wipers.
Might seem a strange thing to talk about, but it's a nice little practical touch, and it's all those little details that make a difference when you own a car. So the wipers in their park position sit on a heated element. What that does is it defrosts the blade from the windscreen in the winter. Because we all do that thing where you scrape the screen and then you jump in to get warm as quick as you can, and you put the wipers on and they're actually still stuck, and they do that horrible granching noise and eventually tear themselves free. Well, that stops that. So it preserves and prolongs the life of your blades as well. It's a nice touch. That heated element also goes up this A-pillar here, and when you sweep away any snow or ice, it gathers here, and that heated element defrosts that, melts it, and it runs away down the drain. So again, nice little touch. At the top of the screen, we've got the camera system for Honda sensing. We've also got the sensors for your auto lights and wipers, which I'm sure you'd expect to get on all these cars, and you will. So that's standard, as is the sensing. So Honda sensing, it's a suite of safety features that come as standard. Hopefully you'll never need them. But we're the weak link when it comes to cars, really. We're the ones who have the headaches, we're the ones who have the bad days, and we're the ones who get distracted. Whereas I like to think of the car as it's always on duty, always in a good mood, and it's never feeling bad, you know? So that camera looks ahead at all times. So if somebody was to say stop in front of you, and you didn't realise, or you were distracted, it would initially warn you. If you still didn't react, it would warn you again, and ultimately it could hit the brakes for you as well. So, as I say, hopefully you'll never need it, but it's there if you do. It will also keep you in your lane, so it's got lane keep assist. It will keep you in your lane, and if you start to veer out, again, without indicating, it will think you're distracted, so it will warn you. It's got road departure mitigation. If you fell asleep and you started to swerve off the road, it would warn you and also help you steer back on. All things we hope you never need, but there if you need them. Adaptive cruise control, standard on all cars. So it's cruise control, but better because it's more usable. So you set the speed to say 60 miles an hour. If the car in front slows down, on a normal cruise control, you'd have to deactivate it, hit the brake, and it would cancel. On adaptive cruise, it maintains a gap that you set between your car and the one in front, and it will slow down with that car. Similarly, if that car speeds up, you'll speed up. If the car in front stops, let's say you're on the M180 on the motorway, this car will also stop without you intervening. And if that car in front moves away, you'll move away and go back up to your maximum speed. It's one of those things that if you've never used it, it might take a little bit of getting used to. But once you do get used to it, and I use it all the time, it's just so easy. And it leaves you as a driver free to look out and look for the idiots, because there's plenty of them on the road when you drive around. So that's good news. It's a good safety feature. So that's the front of the car. Are you all right with that for now? Okay, come on, let's go this way. Let's wander around the car. We'll have a look at the side. So the side of the car. Bigger wheels than the current HR-V. They're now an 18-inch, and they're in this black spoke with a polished face. I think they look great. And that's a standard wheel on the car, whether you get the Elegance, the Advance, or the Advanced style. So all three models get that wheel. We've got these body protection mouldings around the arches and along the sill, which gives it that sort of 4x4 look. Good for stone chips and body protection. And also, as I say, it looks nice. You can see that higher driving position. You can see that higher body strap. All models get keyless entry and start. So keys in your pocket or your bag. To lock the car, you simply touch the three ribbed lines on top of the handle. The door locks, the mirrors fold. You know you can walk away, it's locked. To enter the car, put your hand behind the handle, it unlocks. To start the car, press the button. Key stays in the pocket, key stays in the bag. Easy.
Rear of the car, rear passenger area. We've got the hidden handle. We've kept that from the existing HR-V. Customers love it. And inside there, we've got more room. So 35mm more knee room in the back. I know we like these numbers as car manufacturers, but to put that into sort of real life, I'm 6'5". I've got 2 kids. All their life, 21 years, I've listened to "Do not sit behind Dad." There's never any room behind Dad. They fight to get on the opposite seat. All that we've had. But this car, for example, if the seat's in my driving position, I can sit behind myself with knee room. I mean, I'll jump in now. This seat's all the way back. And you can see that for somebody lanky and 6'5", there's a hell of a lot of space there. So that's a good practical car, considering, you know, this isn't our biggest vehicle, but it's a good, usable family vehicle. We've got, for the first time in the back of a HR-V, we've got 2 vents in the centre console. So we have got the benefit of your aircon and your heating for the rear passengers. Never had that in a HR-V. Underneath those vents, there are 2 USB charging points. So they can charge their phones, they can charge their tablets, and it's the 2.5 amp version, so it's actually the more powerful charging point. Okay, so far. Magic seats. Who likes them? Who knows what they are?
The folding ones, right?
The folded ones? Absolutely, yeah. Have you all seen Magic seats? Well, we've got them, you know, and it's that versatility, incredibly light, well balanced, fold up out of the way, and then all that space for your pot plants with the plants in them, for your big screen TVs. And I say this because it's true. If you Google Honda Jazz, oh, what's that? Honda Jazz, Magic seats and Shetland pony, you'll see that somebody's had a Shetland pony in the back of there. So if you can get a horse in the back, you can get your shopping. That's the way I look at it, okay? The seats also fold flat in the other direction too, and I'll drop that one down because when we get to the boot, you can see that we've got a completely flat loading bay, no steps, nothing to hinder sliding heavy items in. Right, petrol cap, operated by a switch by your right knee, but as I keep saying, just keep putting the petrol in, it charges itself, all right? Let's come to the back now, have a look at the lights. We need to get some oil on that door. Scaring me. Right, I'm 53, but really inside I'm a 10-year-old, okay? Because my favourite bit is the lights, all right? So we'll put them on. And so we've got the full LED light bar across the back of the car. I mean, it looks fabulous, I think. It's obviously very standout, so hopefully people will see you. But as I say, you know, it looks fabulous. So happy days with that. Okay? Right. The boot and the boot area. I'm going to lock the car as if to mimic the fact that it's outside the supermarket. All right? So you've come out of the shops and you've got the plastic bags in your hand. All right? Your keys in your pocket or your bag, and you don't want to be faffing around with that. So to get in the boot, you approach the back of the car, swing your leg underneath, and stand back. Stand back. Ever work with, what is it, children animals? And cars, add that to the list now. That's very strange, that is, because this has worked perfectly. Let me just try again. Okay. That's very odd. We have a slight technical issue here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be worried about it, because this has worked perfectly for the past 3 weeks. And it played up a little bit before, didn't it? So maybe
I jinxed you, sorry Phil, I jinxed you.
Yeah, you jinxed it, yeah. So, normally, we have a function where you swing your leg underneath the back and the rear boot opens. Now I'm going to have a look at that in a second and see if I can figure it out. It's a great function, and it means that you don't have to put your bags in. Just to sort of give the car a little bit of an excuse, this is a car that has been literally flown in from Japan. The car production has not started yet. They float 5 of them in. And so let's hope that that's just, you know, something and nothing, if you know what I mean. But I'll have a look on the settings. We've got, when we do get the boot open, a nice practical boot. We've got 319 litres, if you want to know the numbers. It's kind of that big. Underneath the floor here, we've got a small storage area. And at the back here, we've got a wider section, which is good if any of you do the golf and you can keep your clubs across the back. This is a new thing. It replaces the sort of traditional parcel shelf on the little strings. And when I spoke to the design team about this, they told me a story which I kind of didn't believe, but I might change my mind. So what they said is that they listened to customer feedback. The traditional shelf on the strings, they said that when people were leaning in the boot, they were banging their head on it. Thank you very much. There you go. So it is real. So they've done away with that shelf now. And what you've got is this flexible shelf here that allows you still to cover what's in the boot, obviously for security reasons, but it also deflects and deforms around it. So if you've got maybe a little bit too much in, it still allows the boot to shut. If you do want to take it off, maybe you carry the dogs in the back, it's simple, it just clips out, and it stows away very easily because it's very light and very small. To close the boot, we've got a few methods. You could use the key, you could press the button here, and then we have a new feature called walk away close. So if you press that one there, the little green light comes on. And the idea was, the picture I was trying to paint was, at that point you pick up the, the 26 bags that you're 13 in each hand, because you always do that thing where you try and get your bags to the house in one go. Yeah. And then you walk away from the car, and as you get out of range of the key, it shuts. So that's our walk away close feature. So that's the new thing. So it's a nice little feature, and the kick one, I'll have a look at that shortly, because I'm disappointed, and I'll get that going for you. Right. Parking sensors at the back, as I said. Rear camera also. And once you get up to this mid-range model, I should say, it also has rear cross-traffic monitor. So, the scenario there is this. You go to B&Q or somewhere like that, you park your car up, and then you come out, and there's a transit van parked here. There's another one on the other side. Goodness me, the rain's coming in. And you then have to do that thing where you back out the spot, but you can't see. So you kind of back out with your fingers crossed and listen out for people beeping. Well, on this car, the rear cross-traffic monitor looks to the right and to the left, and as you're backing out, if there's somebody coming, it warns you on the screen in the centre of the car, gives you an arrow. If you carry on backing out, it warns you again, beeps, and also ultimately will hit the brakes as well. So again, it's a nice practical thing. Hopefully you never need it, but it might stop on those annoying little car park bumps. Right, last step on the tour is the interior. So, some clever features inside. We've got some new improved seating. They're called comfort seats, and they are just that. I've done sort of 8 and 9 hour drives in them. It's a different construction of seats, slightly different shape, slightly different padding materials. Been super, super comfortable, all right? They're heated and all grades. So your front seats on the Elegance, Advance and Advanced style are heated on all grades, which is nice. Once you get up to this Advance, we also give you a heated steering wheel. I think we're starting to spoil you a bit now, but there you go. But it's a nice thing. Scrape the screen, all the frost on your hands, jump in, warm your hands up. Throw away your driving gloves, okay? What else can we say? We've got an enhanced and improved media system over the current HR-V. So the screen in the centre, it's brighter and clearer to see. It reacts quicker to your fingertip touch, so it's easier to use. You're going to get standard navigation on the car. You're going to get standard digital radio on the car. You're going to get a whole host of things, but standard ability obviously to pair your phone up via Bluetooth and make your legal calls. We've also got the enhanced smartphone features. So if you've got an iPhone, for example, we've got cordless Apple CarPlay. So what that means is after you've paired up your phone, the screen in the center will essentially display your iPhone screen with all the apps. And then you can access them via talking to it, for example. You can ask it to play a certain track, you can ask it to read out your messages, or ask it to navigate somewhere. We've also got that similar system called Android Auto, which is for Android phones, but you do need a cable between your phone and the car, all right? In terms of interior colours, this is the advanced grade. It comes with a cloth centre to the seats and then leather bolsters. If you get the elegance, you get cloth seats all the way through, so no leather bolsters or imitation leather bolsters. If you get the advanced style, the top of the range, instead of getting black leather, you get a grey, a creamy grey leather bolster, a lighter fabric, and a grey leather sort of strip across the centre of the dashboard. So it's a kind of a lighter interior, okay? We've got a new feature here called a diffuser, which Honda are very proud of. 3 positions. So we've got off at the bottom, front and back. And the idea behind that is this. Do you know when you've got the heating on and the aircon, but more so the heating, and it's on high heat, maybe it's a sort of a winter's day and you're trying to get everything clear and, you know, mist it, demist it. A lot of people find that heat blowing in their face a little bit oppressive, makes them feel a bit sick, nauseous. So that diffuser does away with that. So when you're driving in the car, as I say, I've driven it in all weathers over the last few weeks, it just, instead of blowing it right at you, the air, it kind of nicely diffuses it around, and it just takes away that feeling of being, like, you know, blown at, really. So that's a nice feature. We've got something in the middle there called the hill descent control, which is normally found on a 4x4 style vehicle. But this is just a 2-wheel drive. And what that does for you is if you were going down a steep hill, maybe it's your lane where you live, maybe it's just your driveway, and it's slippery or icy or it's snowed, you hit the hill descent button, and the car controls your descent. It looks at all 4 wheels, and if it has to, it brakes individual wheels to keep you in a straight line. All you do is steer, and when you get to the bottom of the hill, onto the gritted road, you just accelerate away, and it disengages, so it takes the stress out of those nudgery little nasty lanes that we all have to drive down. There's an awful lot else, but I'll be here all night. Okay, so I think you've listened to me for long enough. If you've got any questions, please fire away. But now's your opportunity to sit in the car, press a few buttons. There's only 5 of them in existence, don't break it. I've got to drive away in it later. But thanks for listening and enjoy the look round. Okay?